You are listening to The Art of Sales. Everyone sells every day, and this is your source for conversational, real-world sales and prospecting methods that you are comfortable using and that get results. You'll help people buy instead of pushing them into being sold. Here's your host, Art Subcheck.
Welcome, everybody. Today we have a very special guest who has been extremely successful in sales with several organizations and also owns a fast-growing software company that is providing a service to salespeople that is helping them solve a huge problem and increase their success tremendously. Brandon Bornancin is a serial salesperson, a two-time seven-figure entrepreneur, sales author, CEO, and expert speaker on sales, marketing, and entrepreneurship. Brendan is a world-renowned public speaker whose cut to the chase, no BS, in the trenches approach has made millions, lost millions, and everything in between since he was 18 years old building his first company. Brandon has participated in hundreds of speaking engagements, events, podcasts, and blogs for Fortune 500 organizations all over the world to all types of industries and audiences, primarily comprised of salespeople and marketers, entrepreneurs, and digital technology enthusiasts. Brandon, welcome.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, Art. Thrilled to be here as one of my favorite authors and mentors. It's such an honor. I'm humbled and grateful to be here with the audience today.
Well, Brenda, it's actually my honor to have you here. And I got to ask you, are there like four of you? Because it seems like everywhere I look online, I mean, I see you. You've got content all over the place. You're speaking. And by the way, you're also running this little company you have.
Yeah, it's been wild, man. I'm just all in, and it gets to the quote, which I know we'll cover later. But I just love what I do. I've got a big mission to positively impact 1 billion people, and I try to document and share everything that I learn every single day with the world. And as you know, I don't know if did you tell the audience? So just so the audience knows, one of the first sales books I ever picked up, I got hired by IBM Interactive to go from B2C sales to B2B sales. Didn't know anything about it. I literally am going to IBM Interactive. I walk into a FedEx Kinko's to burn time before my first day. I go into the FedEx. The first book I see is Smart Calling, Eliminate the Fear of Failure and Rejection with Cold Calling. I buy the book and read it. This is like 21 years old, 22 years old. One of my first books, Smart Calling, changed my life forever to realize like cold calling is going to be the future. Smart selling is going to be the future. It's crazy wild ride, crazy story.
So you're pretty much saying you owe all of your success to me. Is that what
absolutely? Absolutely.
Well, good.
100%.
Well, now we got that established. Well, good. That's great. Well, I appreciate you sharing that story. And actually, let's go back way before that. I always like to start out by asking my guests how they got into sales. So what was your first paid sales job?
Yeah. So I got introduced to sales when I was like 6 years old. So my mom and dad, they ran 4 jobs. This is blue collar. My mom worked in a grocery store and a bank, 2 full-time jobs, working 80 hours a week. My dad was in construction on the weekends, and during the day, he sold computers at Macy's retail chains. So literally Apple computers, Microsoft, Dell computers, you name it, in the actual Macy's store where you go to buy suits and clothes. And when he was selling the computers, he got approached by a small company called CA Technologies. At the time, it was Computer Associates. And they were so impressed with how he was selling Apple computers that they offered him an internship. He took the internship in New York. So he was flying from Ohio to New York every week. Ended up going from internship to VP of sales to taking that software company to the first company to do over $1 billion in software sales. And I saw my life go from super poor to super wealthy because of my father in software sales. Knew I had to get into sales. My first job when I was 14 and a half, I joined a call center where I was teleprospecting for free donations for the firefighters and the police departments. You know how hard it is cold calling people, asking for donations where they don't get anything in return? That was my first job, making $7 an hour, 14, 15 years old. And you got commissions. So like if you brought in $1,000, you would get like a quarter raise per hour. And then you get close another 1,000, you get another quarter, whatever it is. So I was just obsessed with making as many calls and closing as many people on the phone in this like 100-person call center. And then from there, I went to the first college that taught sales at my state in Ohio, called Ohio University, killing 3 birds with one stone. It was the number one sales university. It was the number one party school, and it was the number one business school. So I got lucky. I got to kill 3 birds with one stone. And from that teleprospecting gig, I learned to launch my own sales and marketing company. And it did about $10 million my freshman, sophomore, junior year in college. So that was an exciting ride. And from there, launched another company that lost millions in everything I owned because I didn't know how to do B2B sales. And then I ended up selling for IBM and Google, where I did about 100 million in sales, and then launched a software company that automated my prospecting and selling, which helped me generate the 100 million in sales for my sales teams, which is now Seamless.ai, and I'm the founder and CEO there.
Wow. Well, let me back way up, because we actually have a lot of similarities. I don't know if you knew this, but you wouldn't know this part, but my parents both were blue collar. They did not go on to make a lot of money in sales. But my first job was when I was 13 years old, selling tickets to the Policeman's Fundraiser Circus. And although you were just asking for donations, we had a product that I think did not exist, because I think it was a scam, but it was doing exactly the same thing. So yeah, I do know how hard it is.
I think my teleprospecting thing was a scam too, like, because they kept, I remember reading like in the fine print, they keep like 93 or 95% of the donations. But and that's when I quit, like towards the end of like a year. Doing that for a year, it's tough. But totally get it. That's crazy. I had no idea.
When were you at Ohio University?
2004, 2005, 2006, 2007. So I don't even know how long ago that was. 14 years.
I spoke there probably after you were gone. And,
yeah, you spoke at the sales university that I was at, the Ralph and Lucy Shea Sales Center.
Yeah, were you there at the awards banquet?
Yeah, yes. I don't know if I was there when you were there, but like, it's funny. I joined the sales center at 18, and then I launched this multi-million-dollar company, and I hired everyone at the sales center. So I was like a member that hired everyone, and like they wanted me to role play, and I'm like, dude, I'm doing like tens of millions, I'm doing like millions of dollars in sales. I don't need to role play, but I did it anyways because I needed to get the sales certificate and the diploma or whatever they call it for college. It's crazy. Yeah. Ralph and Lucy Shea Sales Center. And then Ken Krogh, right? Did you work with Ken Krogh? He ran that thing.
Yeah. Ken used a lot of my content there. Okay, so for all the listeners, don't mind us. We're just having our little conversation here. So let's talk about what made you so successful. Tell me how you built that company. What were you doing?
Yeah, so the sales and marketing company was for the gambling industry. So I was a big online gambler. Poker. I loved it. But the problem was I would make a lot of money and lose a lot of money. And luckily I got approached by Party Poker, Poker Stars. And they're like, hey, you've got a pretty big network. We'll pay you $150 to recruit new players. So you find someone to join and do a $50 deposit, we'll give you $150. And I'm like, okay, let me do the math here. If I give Art $50 to join, they're going to pay me $150. I net $100. So I went knocking dorm room to dorm room. And it was like, you know how they talk about the social network where Zuckerberg invited a bunch of his dorm room friends and only 2 out of the 5 stayed with them. And then they became billionaires or whatever. Like, it was very similar to that, but on like a micro scale where I invited all my friends. I'm like, I had like 7 people in the dorm room. Hey, this, Party Poker, Full Tilt Poker wants us to market for them. Who wants to join my team and do it? Let's launch this company. 3 out of the like 7 people in the room joined me. We went knocking dorm room to dorm room, signed 1,000 people up, then went campus wide, signed tens of thousands of people up. And then, we took it online, and that's when it blew up. It went from like the first week I made $2,000. It was the most money I ever made, right when I was 18. in a week, and then I scaled it to 10,000 in another week, and then scaled it to 25,000, then 100,000, then 1 million, because I took it online. And so it went from like hard door knocking and canvassing college to then taking it online and doing online marketing and advertising and selling. And it was 50% hard work, 50% luck. Like online gambling at that time in 2004 was massive. And then 3 years later, the reason why I stopped my junior year was because they made it online gambling illegal in the US.
Right.
So like all my clients, they shut down operating in the US, and I'm like, well, shit, I don't know what to do. So I took the money and I launched a text messaging software company. And this was selling B2B. So first company was selling B2C. Second company was selling B2B. And this is where smart calling and all that jazz that you learn about, for enterprise selling comes into play. But I was 21, 22 at the time, didn't really know how to do it, and ended up taking everything I owned, launched in mobile, built a 30-person company, but we had like hundreds of thousands of dollars in expenses and barely any money coming in because I couldn't figure out how to find and contact my customers, my potential enterprise advertisers. And over the course of 3 years, just like lost everything I made from the previous company. Sold that company to a publicly traded company called Genesis, the big cloud computing company, if you've ever heard of them. Had to move to New York, opened up their sales office, and wanted to get the hell out of mobile after 3 to 4 years of losing. I mean, I closed big clients like Vitamin Water, Rockstar Energy Drink, Jack Daniels to do text message marketing for them to all their customers. But at the time in 2007, 2008, this is still flip phones. No one was doing or buying $100,000, $1 million text message marketing software programs. And back then, the expenses to run all the short codes and all the mobile lines and the text software, like it was just crazy high. So that's why I couldn't generate enough revenue to keep it successful because I didn't have the sales leads. So then once I sold it, I wanted to get out of it as fast as possible. My partner, who is doing the online gambling marketing company with me, he went to IBM Interactive. He's like, hey, I'm building products at IBM. You should do sales here. So I moved from New York to Columbus, Ohio, where IBM Interactive was headquartered. And that's when I went into 7-figure, 8-figure website sales, social marketing sales, selling like Fortune 500 companies to do all of their global websites, their global redesigns, their social media marketing campaigns for $500K, $1 million. Global websites were like 10, 12, $15 million, tens of thousands of pages. So that was cool. Got to work with Microsoft, Xbox, Google, Kohler, a lot of manufacturers, a lot of tech companies, Autodesk, Adobe, Microsoft, Google. So it was a lot of fun, learned a lot. But then I had an opportunity to sell for Google and had to take it because you give me $1, I give you 4 or 5, 10 back. It's so highly trackable, and the ROI and the return on ad spend is so easily proven that I'm like, I could sell this all day. And when I was selling for Google was when I needed to find all the people that were spending any amount of money on Google ad spend. And I needed to find all the digital marketers at those companies. So I ended up building this prototype called Seamless.ai. It was like my secret search engine to find everyone I needed to sell to. And then I recruited all the Google and IBM engineers and engineers in my network, and we built this search engine to find everyone you need to sell to. And then we built this AI platform to research emails and cell phones for everyone that you need to sell to. I went from making 6 figures to 7 figures in sales, like in 12 months using the prototype. And then my mindset shifted. I'm like, holy shit, this changed my life. I finally became a millionaire again. Like my first company when I was 18 made millions, and then like I never got to that peak again for a decade. So then when I finally was able to make $1 million in sales as a salesperson, I'm like, I don't know, my motivation and my life purpose changed from making all these advertisers $1 billion or hundreds of millions in sales to what if I could help people like Art or everyone listening to Art's audience, if I could help make them millionaires or make them millions or help them make millions where they can make $300K, $500K, $100K, $1 million in sales. They're going to make a lot of money. I'm going to have a massive impact on them and their families. And then I'm going to make a lot of money by helping them make a lot of money. So we went all in on quitting, selling for Google and IBM, and all in on building Seamless.ai, the world's best sales leads platform. And we've been grinding on that for the past next few years. And we've got 30,879 SaaS companies, salespeople, marketers, entrepreneurs on the platform.
How ironic. You're working for Google and you have to go create your own search engine to find your sales leads.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. And like, you would think this massive company has a great sales process, has a great way to fill the funnel. It was total chaos. Like, the cool part about joining a big company like IBM and Google is that they've got big brand recognition. The bad part is the sales processes. Like, there are no sales scripts. Like, everything that you teach in smart calling and telephone tips that sell and sell more in less time, like, no one's doing that at these big companies because they've got such big brand recognition that, like, they don't invest a lot of time in sales scripts, emails, calling, filling the funnel with all this sales leads, technology, pitching, closing. Like, they don't analyze that sales deal like a company with a less brand recognition would do. So it's just like, oh, you work for Google, here's your accounts, go run. And it's like, well, shit, now what? I just became obsessed with like knowing a lot about technology and knowing a lot about sales. I'm like, okay, I'm working with all these Google engineers. Like, we could build a search engine that doesn't find what you want to search for, but finds the actual real-time people. Because I was paying $250,000 for all these databases, and none of these databases had, I'm paying for like ZoomInfo, DiscoverOrg, D&B, all these databases, and now Dun & Bradstreet's an actual investor in my company, which is awesome. But these databases didn't have anyone that I needed to sell to. So I'm spending 5 hours, 6 hours a day researching who are all the accounts I need to sell to, who are all the titles, these digital marketers, these IT people, the C-suite. Then I got to go scour millions of websites looking for their emails and phone numbers and insights. And I got to manually input that for hours into my Salesforce.com. It drove me nuts. Like, after doing that for months, over and over and over again as a top 1% salesperson, I'm like, okay, if I could make 300, 500K doing this manually, like if I could automate it, I could probably triple, quadruple my income and become a millionaire. And just saw that opportunity and worked with a lot of really smart engineers and gave those smart engineers a lot of money to help me build this thing. And then it changed my life. And now I'm on a mission to possibly impact 1 billion people and change everyone else's life.
So you just described the problems that many salespeople have as far as gathering intelligence, or even before that, finding who to contact, how to contact them through email and phone, and then trying to find smart intelligence about them. And you put together a solution that automates that. So explain, as if I didn't know exactly what it is, because many people out there don't, explain exactly what your service does and how it helps salespeople.
Yeah, so Seamless.ai, the world's best sales leads, it's a free platform. You can join for free today. And I think, Art, you've got a code that they can use to get on the platform for free and get a bunch of bonus credits. So you join the platform for free and you type in any title, any keyword, any company in the world that you want to sell to. And Seamless in real time will research every single professional in the world with that current title at that current company criteria. So it will find 95% of everyone that you need to sell to instantly in real time, currently working at those companies. And then you could click a button, the find button, and Seamless will leverage an AI engine, a 10-step AI engine, to research, validate, and verify their perfect emails, cell phones, and hundreds of insights about that person and that company, so that you can automate all of the endless time that we waste in sales on endless list building, endless prospecting, endless manual CRM data entry, endless appointment setting work. Seamless finds everyone you need to sell to. It gives you all the information to contact them, their emails, cell phones, and insights, and then it gets it into your CRM so that you could just be prospecting, pitching, and closing 24/7 versus wasting the majority of your time on non-selling work. So you pair up Seamless with like the scripts from Art in smart selling and all these, strategies on how to like pitch the deal and how to close the deal. Seamless gives you all the leads that you need to sell to. And then you pair it with everything that you've learned from Art, who's on the line, and anyone else. You're going to be able to make hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars in sales.
That's fascinating, because a major complaint that I hear from salespeople is when they do find leads with phone numbers and emails, many times they're bad, but you're using artificial intelligence to validate that. Tell us how that happens.
Yeah, this took me millions of dollars in 3 years to build. So the search engine took me about 1.5 years to build, to find everyone in the world in real time that you need to sell to. Then it took me another 2 years with my Google, IBM, and top engineers in my network. So what we did was, when you use Seamless to find someone's emails, phone numbers, and insights, Seamless will research across the entire web looking for their emails and cell phones, hundreds of millions of websites, billions of domains in real time, looking for their emails and cell phones. It searches across 1 billion social profiles. Is Art's phone number, email, cell phone, everything about Art anywhere on any social network. Then it searches hundreds of thousands of news sites. Then it searches any user inputted data. Then it searches the prospect's website. So if you want to sell to Intuit and you type in IT, marketing, sales, recruiting, you name it, Seamless will find everyone with that title or keyword working at Intuit. Then when you click the find button, it uses this 10-step AI engine to research, validate, and verify their perfect emails and cell phones. We also send a virtual email to the email server automatically. So the 10-step AI engine, Email AI, sends a virtual email to the email server. Social AI searches 1 billion social profiles looking for the emails and cell phones of that person. Web AI searches hundreds of millions of websites and 1 billion domains looking for their contact information found on the web. Website AI actually goes to the prospect's website looking for their emails and cell phones on the company's website. So if they've got their contact info on the website, we're going to find it. They got their company info on the website or any of these sources, we're going to find it. Then it searches news, hundreds of thousands of news sites in real time, and then any user inputted data. And we analyze all of those results using AI, and it recommends and learns from all of that data instantly and tells you, hey, here's Art's email. Here's Art's cell phone. Here's his company phone. Here's hundreds of insights on Art, his Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, the news, everything about him, and then everything about the company. Here's all the info about Intuit, their financials, web technologies, news, similar websites, competitors, hundreds of insights instantly. And then with one click of the button, it can auto import into your CRM. So you can prospect about 1,000 people in 10 minutes or less using the power of Seamless.ai. So as a salesperson, you wake up, you go into the office, you build your list of companies using Seamless. You grab all the contacts working at those companies with the ideal titles that you need to sell to. It will automatically find their emails, cell phones, and insights. And if you have auto import turned on, it will automatically get imported to your CRM. 10 minutes goes by. Now you've got 8 hours left in the day to just be prospecting, pitching, and closing day in and day out.
Wow. Sounds like almost too good to be true. Who is this ideally for, and who is it not for?
Yeah, I mean, for anyone that's selling to any B2B professional. I mean, you know, our core demographic is we help SaaS companies acquire new customers, but we've got 30,879 companies using it. And this is the same platform. I use it today to book 75 to 100 SaaS demos and appointments every single day, with predictability down to every sales lead and sales call. So logos and companies that are using it: Google, Salesforce, Amazon, Facebook, IBM, Marketo, HP, Dell, Adobe, Tableau, Workday, like massive companies, HubSpot, Intuit, Zoom Video, LinkedIn, Envision, Twitter, Nice in Contact, massive companies, but then it's free to join. So you could join for free, and any professional, whether you're at a startup, mid-market company, or an enterprise like Steelhouse, PandaDoc, Archidin, Cisco, Comcast, whether it's a startup or a massive enterprise, you could join Seamless.ai for free. And then what's great is, when I was at Google and IBM spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on these databases, I'm like, I want to build a company that positively impacts 1 billion people. The only way to do that is we have to offer salespeople and marketers unlimited sales leads. I want to empower salespeople and the world to become limitless in connecting to opportunity. So we launched a paid plan where it's unlimited sales leads, $97 a month. That's a few dollars a day. My Starbucks coffee for $3.25 costs more than unlimited sales leads for the day. And you get, you sign up and it's per user pricing, where a license costs roughly $97. You get unlimited sales leads, searches, emails, cell phones, insights, downloads, CRM import, unlimited appointments, unlimited imports to your CRM. Everything's unlimited. Anyone can join for free, do hundreds of searches, and then you could upgrade to Seamless Unlimited. We've got about 30,000 companies and salespeople and marketers doing that.
We've established that the enterprise company is obviously ideal for. I'm a solopreneur. I'm a manufacturer's rep. I'm selling to industrial manufacturers.
Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off. Keep going.
No. I mean, just as a single sales rep,
yes,
this would be beneficial for me as well.
Totally. So check this out. Lucas at GripMat. So have you ever heard of a show called The Shark Tank?
Oh, of course. Okay,
so Lucas and his team invented GripMat. They manufactured this orange mat. So when people are working on cars, mechanics or whatever, they don't know where to put their tools because tools are all over the place. They invented this mat that could attach to a car like wherever you're working, and then you can put your tools on it and it doesn't harm the car. Lucas at GripMat, they had a good product, great market, some beta customers. They needed to get the product in the hands of more people to grow their business, but they were stuck for years trying to find the right people to sell to, let alone find their emails and phone numbers. They need to sell this GripMat thing to all these people that worked on cars and automobiles. So they signed up for Seamless.ai, and they used the AI engine. Their sales skyrocketed over 400%. Then they get on the Shark Tank and they go global because they were able to find everyone that they needed to sell to instantly using Seamless. The GripMat was like a startup that was selling to mechanic automobile companies, random small startup, and they quadrupled their sales and in less than 90 days, got on Shark Tank, and then blew up globally. And they say it was all because of, the power of Seamless, and they wouldn't have been able to get on Shark Tank without Seamless. They weren't able to get the sales to even survive without Seamless. Like, that's a random, small, really cool case study of a solopreneur company that randomly used Seamless, crushed it, then got on Shark Tank and went global.
Wow, what a great story. Did they mention you on Shark Tank?
They did not mention me on Shark Tank, but they gave me a really awesome case study, like video. It's on our site, and they talk about how, Seamless helped them increase their sales 400%, and it was the only reason why they were able to get on, Shark Tank and survive today. So like that's what it's all about. Like, I would never have known that the platform was able to help GripMat increase sales, create jobs, get on Shark Tank, and build this amazing company. And that's awesome to see. And I've got 460 pages of testimonials and reviews in a Google Doc that I read. So any positive review or testimonial we get, whether it's Amazon, Oliver booked 1.5 million in new business in 2 weeks using the platform. Like, we've got really big case studies, really small case studies. I've got 460 pages. That's over 4,600 reviews and testimonials of salespeople and marketers at SMB, mid-market enterprise, just changing their lives, increasing sales, increasing their income by 3, 5, 10x, using the power of AI to automate all of that top of funnel sales activity. It's incredible.
Well, what I would suggest for people to do, instead of us just talking about it, is to have them just try it out themselves, because they can try it out for free. And as you mentioned, we do have a link. So I'll give that to you here now. We'll give it to you at the end of the show because we got a few more things to talk about. And we'll put it in the show notes on the site as well. But the link is pretty simple. It's seamlesssmartcalling.com, seamlesssmartcalling.com. And it might look a little bit funny because there's 3 S's right in the middle there, but that is correct. seamlesssmartcalling.com, and you'll be able to sign up for your free account and start using it within minutes, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You go there, you sign up, it takes 2 seconds, and you could literally be finding hundreds of ideal sales leads that you should be selling to in 60 seconds. If you don't book a few appointments within 10, 20 minutes of calling those leads, let me know, because I haven't had one person tell me from signing up that they didn't instantly book 1 to 10 new appointments with prospects they didn't even know existed. It's incredible.
And we really haven't talked about your expertise as a salesperson and your strategies and your techniques. So why don't we just take a couple minutes right now and share with our audience some of your best go-to best practices that you use and you teach your salespeople to use, and they're crushing it, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. We're growing at 1,000% year over year. I'm booking 75 to 100 SaaS demos and appointments every single day. And it's interesting because I applied actually a lot of what you taught me, Art, like throughout the beginning of my sales career. I've got 4 key pillars based on what I learned from studying you as a mentor and studying like hundreds of other expert authors and big players in the sales space. Number 1 is leads. I recommend you need to do the $1 million math, to make $1 million in sales and commissions, or whether it's a quota or whatever it is. I always put down my $1 million math. Like, I want to make $1 million after taxes in sales. Okay, if my average commission is, $10,000, I need 100 deals a year. Then I break that down into how many deals do I need a month, and then how many deals do I need a week, and then how many deals do I need a day. Then I would figure out, okay, to do that number of deals per day to make $1 million after taxes. How many leads and appointments do I need to hit that daily number? I believe that you make 7 and 8 figures in sales by running a marathon. Like, you can't look at an annual number. You need to track it daily. Like, what is the daily goals and activity required to hit the annual number that you want to make? So that's number one. Like, figure out the $1 million math, break it down into daily activity, and then 5x that number. Everyone underestimates the amount of time, activity, capital is required to generate whatever your income goal is. So I would break it down, and then I'd multiply that by 3 to 5. And that would be the number of leads that I would fill the funnel with every single day. And you could use Seamless to fill that funnel. So let's just say to do $1 million, you needed to prospect 20 new leads a day. I would multiply that by 5. Okay, I need to go after 100 new cold leads a day. I need to find them, add them to the funnel, and prospect them in addition to all the other work in my pipeline. So that's number one. Number two is content. Art taught this. Like, you need sales script. You need to fall in love with sales scripts. You need to write out all of your calling scripts, your voicemail scripts, your email scripts, your social selling scripts, your video scripts, your text message scripts in advance. You need to write out all of your objection handling scripts. I'm not interested. It's too expensive. Already working with someone. Send me more information. Call me back later. It's not a good time. I'm not the right decision maker. I don't have any money. Write out all these objection scripts to overcome them in advance and study them nonstop. I wrote a 10,000 page playbook on this, thousands of sales scripts, and then just like Seamless.ai, I decided to give them away. So now I've got 12 books that have 1,800 sales scripts for every sales objection, every script in the game. It's on Amazon, and anyone that signs up for Seamless.ai, we give you free access to the 12 books. They're called the 7-figure sales scripts. So I believe number one is leads. Number two is content. You need all the sales scripts for every single selling situation. Sales is a game of chess. And if you know what someone is going to say and you know how to address and overcome or address and move that deal forward, you will maximize your sales. And Art taught me that. And then it inspired me to write all these sales scripts. And then I decided, instead of keeping them a secret, let's give it away to all the salespeople worldwide. And then number three is activity. You have to hold yourself to a high degree standard of execution. Sales is a numbers game. You have to execute an extensive amount of activity every day. The reason why the audience may see me a lot on LinkedIn or on social or speaking or everywhere is because, like, I'm cranking from 5 a.m. I'm on conference calls at the gym at 5. Literally, I wake up at 4:30. I'm at the gym at 5 a.m. and I'm working with my international team, and then I'm on conference calls and I'm pitching overseas companies while I'm at the gym. I'm working and pitching, and then I'm still cranking, and then I finish a shower real quick, and then I'm back working and selling and cranking, and it's 8 a.m., 9 a.m., and then I grind all the way through till about 10 p.m. at night. I'm trying to positively impact 1 billion people. I'm trying to build $1 billion company, and for me, that's just the amount of work it takes. But you just have, as a top 1% salesperson, you have to hold yourself to a high degree of execution and activity. And then also, for all of that to work, the leads, the content, the scripts, and the levels of activity, you have to pick a niche and get rich. If you try to sell to everyone, you will sell to no one. And I use the analogy of going into an airport or a mall. If you go into the mall and it's packed, it's a weekend, and you're trying to get someone's attention. Hey, everybody, look at me. Hey, everybody, I want to sell you this bag, or I want to sell you this slice of pizza, or I want to sell you this suit, or whatever it is. No one's going to listen to you because you're just yelling like a crazy person. But if I'm like, hey, Stacy in the red cap and the Victoria's Secrets bag with blue jeans on. Hey, Stacy who went to Ohio University with the Victoria's Secrets bag and the red hat on. Hey, Stacy. That's like picking a niche. Like, Stacy's going to look at me and be like, who the hell is this? How do they know me? How do they know what I look like? How do they know everything about me? And then she's going to listen. The same thing happens with your prospects. You have to pick a niche to get rich. So instead of using Seamless.ai as an example, instead of saying, hey, we deliver the world's best sales leads, hey, I need to pick a niche and get rich. I help inside sales people at SaaS companies with 50 to 500 employees go from booking 2 appointments a day to booking 8 appointments a day in 22 business days or less, so that they can go from $1 million to $10 million in sales. That niche is so damn specific. Inside salespeople, what industry? SaaS industry. What employees? Okay, 50 to 250 to 500 employees. They're trying to go from 1 to 10 million. All my messaging, if it's around that one persona and that one niche in that one industry at this one type of account size with one type of pain and problem and biggest desire, all my scripts are going to resonate. So now I can do mass personalization and prospecting and selling at scale. And it feels very, very personalized. But all I did was have to do an initial amount of research on that persona niche. And then I could execute and sell to tens of thousands of people in that super specific niche. So if I build my list using Seamless, I could build a list of 10,000 people in 10 minutes or less. Then I've got that niche messaging. Then I've got all my sales scripts and content to overcome objections. Then I'm doing massive amounts of activity. That's how you generate millions in sales, 12 months or less. 4 pillars. Number 1, I would say pick a niche, get rich. Number 2, sales leads, fill the funnel, 5x your $1 million math. Number 3, content, sales scripts. Number 4, activity. Number 5, read everything that Art writes.
Thank you for adding that. And even without number 5, that was a graduate degree in sales right there. Thank you for sharing that, Brandon. That was awesome. You know, we could talk for hours here, and I do want to have you back on at some point so we can drill deeper into some of these areas. But we do have one more thing. That's a regular feature that we do on every show, and regular listeners, you know what time it is.
Your attitude will be iron every way. You'll never feel what they say. It's the art of the sales. Quote of the day.
That's right. It's time for the quote of the day. And Brandon, I would imagine that you probably have a lot of quotes that have inspired you over the years, but tell us one of your favorite quotes and why it's important to you.
Because I'm an entrepreneur and a salesperson, it's hard for me to follow directions. So I've got 3 quotes for you real quick. Art, this breaks the rules, but my number 1 quote is LFG. Let's freaking go. Like if you break down everything that you need to do in sales and in life, paralysis by analysis doesn't achieve anything. And what I've learned is I've been able to win. I was never the smartest person in the room. Thousands of kids that were smarter than me. But if I just took action and I worked really, really hard, I would outrun them in the race. And at some point you just have to say, LFG, let's freaking go and go out all out, always and always. So my first quote is LFG. I've got it on my license plate. I got it in my office. I got it on hat. I got it everywhere. Number 2 is go all out, always and always. And number 3 is a hashtag, there is no Q5. The hashtag no Q5. There is no Q5. Every day you have to go all out, always and always. So LFG, let's freaking go.
Man, I feel like running through a brick wall right now myself.
Yep. You got me fired up now.
You got me fired up, brother. You are an inspiration. And share with our audience, we're going to give the link again here for the leads to get signed up for their trial account. But share any other contact information that you'd like here, and we'll also put that in the show notes.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it's Brandon Bornancin, CEO and founder of Seamless.ai. I'm on a mission to empower the world to connect opportunity. I want to help you go from where you're at today to where you need to go tomorrow to make all of your dreams a reality in sales and marketing and entrepreneurship, whatever it may be, your wealth, health, potential. I'd love to connect with you on LinkedIn. Also, we've got a daily newsletter. If you sign up for Seamless.ai using Art's link, seamlesssmartcalling.com. That's seamlesssmartcalling.com. Sign up. You'll be added to our daily newsletter. We post daily sales tips, strategies, best practices, scripts, you name it. And I'd love to hear from you, connect with you, learn from you, and help you make this next year your biggest and best yet. And before we close, I really want to give a tribute to Art. Literally, I left my second company that was failing because I didn't know B2B sales. And I joined IBM Interactive. And before I walked in that first day to IBM, there was a Kinko's next to the IBM. I walk into the Kinko's store. There's 2 books, Smart Calling and Selling to Big Companies by Joe Conrath. I pick up Smart Calling. I pick up Selling to Big Companies. I read them both. They show me the foundations of like, holy shit. If you read and you study this stuff, you can master how to sell anything to anyone in anywhere, in any condition, anytime, any place. And if I didn't walk into that Kinko's to pick up your book at the time, who knows where I'd be today? Running a company of 50 people. Who knows if I'd be helping 30,000 companies maximize their potential? Who knows the audience, 1 million people that tune into our show? I want to give a big shout out to you, man, because you didn't know me 15 years ago. You didn't know that you would freaking write this book and it would change my life forever and help me launch a company that is now positively impacting on a mission 1 billion people. So I just want to give a tribute to you for everything that you've done, because you're helping me, you're helping your audience, everyone out there change their lives for the better. And I'm just so damn humble and grateful and thankful for you.
Well, thank you. I'm speechless. I really appreciate that. And I do have a feeling that you would still be where you are today because you would have figured it out, because you do go all out in all ways. But I do appreciate playing a small part in that. And I have a similar mission as you do, and that's to impact people. And I'm going to continue to do that. And I got to say, folks, this service, Seamless, is pretty much, it's almost like if I had to build something that would make smart calling easier, that's what it is. The link again, seamlesssmartcalling.com, seamlesssmartcalling.com. Brandon, once again, thank you so much for being on today. Everybody else, thank you for investing your valuable sales time with us. I am confident you got value out of it. Until next time, go out and make